Hey friends, this is Matt Ramage. This is Everyman's Hustle, and today I've got a great guest. His name is Adam Robinson with retention.com. And yeah, this is a great episode. He's going to talk about his company and what he's up to, and basically go through how he is putting out lots of great content. And he's going to talk about the founder brand and why it's important for a founder to get out there and speak and get people to know him. And anyways, just a all around great episode. Hope you like it, and please enjoy the show. Thank you. All right, friends, welcome to the show. I've got Adam Robinson. Welcome to the show, Adam.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, good. I'm doing good. Yeah, real quick, Adam is the CEO of retention.com. And yeah, he's grown this SaaS over the years and helps e-commerce brands. And yeah, we'll get into more about what retention.com does, but he also started an email marketing agency as well called Robbie in 2012. So I'm excited to hear about that as well. And yeah, Adam and I were talking right before the show. He's also become a podcast expert and content making machine. So let's jump right into that since we were just talking
Sure.
about it. I'm really excited. Yeah, I guess let's talk about more about the founder brand and what that means to
Yeah.
you. And
So yeah, let me give you some background on why I did it first. So my current company is called retention.com. And what we do is we sell into very large Shopify stores and we solve two problems. And this will be very quick. One, we help them grow their email lists by when an anonymous visitor hits their website, we can turn it into a deliverable email address without that person filling out a form. It's magic. So like you're going to get 2% of people to fill out a form. We'll get you 40% of your US traffic to email addresses. And they're super high quality. So unbelievable product. We can use that identity technology to also expand the audiences of cart abandonment emails. The problem is that cart abandonment emails are only getting sent out to people who are logged in to a merchant's Shopify site, which is just nobody, right? Like maybe you're logged into Amazon, maybe you're logged into Facebook, you're not logged into Joe Schmo's underwear D2C shop.com, right? So we can, you're sending 100 cart abandonment emails before. With our identity technology, you can send 500. It is unbelievable how well it works.
right, let
So
me ask you a question about that, Adam.
yeah,
So are you saying, so like I jump onto one of your sites that using your things without ever even signing up, it's somehow tracked, it knows Matt Ramage, it knows my email when I go to leave that site?
that is amazing. And that is what it does. Like look, I've been doing it for like over 3 years. It's still just when I hear it explained back to me, I'm like, yes, that sounds incredible. And that is what we do.
Yeah, I love it.
Look, we can hammer out because the immediate questions are always like, okay, how is it legal? How does it work? Whatever. So I can just spend like 60 seconds on that and then like go into the founder brand. So people want to know, how is it legal? It's a US only technology. And in the US of A, the can spam law is actually opt out rather than opt in. Meaning, so long as you have an opt out link on an email, you're legally speaking, you can actually send it in the US. And next question is, well, what about this California stuff? I thought it was just like GDPR. The one key difference is that it is also opt out and not opt in, because the federal level is opt out. If the state made a law that was opt in, they would get sued under federal law. So like there's that very critical difference. And basically what we're doing, to not spend too much time on this, is there's a bunch of display networks that use anonymized persistent identifiers to follow people around and serve them targeted ads. We are a part of those networks and we know how to de-anonymize those anonymous persistent identifiers. And then we basically connect them to email addresses and then use a bunch of activity signals to clean the email addresses and then pass them to the brand. That is the soup and nuts of how it works. Why the founder brand stuff? So I had told you, Matt, before we started, I had made 0 pieces of content for social media. I'm not on it in my personal life before October 1st. So
This last October.
Yep, exactly. And now I have in this, I'm not like, I don't think this is like amazing, but like I have over 17,000 followers on LinkedIn. Every several times a week, either someone tells me directly or I hear through the grapevine, somebody watches my videos every day. They love the content. People ask me for jobs over LinkedIn weekly, not low level people. Like I have a guy that sold a D2C company for $200 million. It's like, can I be a C-level employee at your shop? people in the ecosystem that we sell into. It's a super tight ecosystem, Shopify ecosystem. And granted, this is combined with a bunch of other stuff that's elevating our brand heat, but people who would not even respond to an email, I know because I fucking emailed them. People who would not respond to an email 6 months ago are walking up to the doorstep and saying, hey, when the time is right, I could run the same playbook that I did at Shop for you because it's coming, right? I don't know how much of that is related to this content creation that I've been doing. I know a lot of it is, because it is making me more, what's the word? A higher status individual in this ecosystem. It is making me more famous. It's giving me more authority. And so like, why is the question? I mentioned two things that our product did. Number one is grew email list. That's all we did until the middle of last year. And that was a good product, but it was, the nature of it was high churn, and we hadn't actually figured out who it was the best for in terms of ideal customer profile. So we were letting anybody sign up. It was a self-serve product. And the same time that we realized that it could also be used for this abandonment use case, but we didn't know how well it would work, we realized that big Shopify stores were killing it on the product, sending all their friends to us for free, and never churning. So it was like everybody else was like very high churn, and this one body of customers was like zero churn, and our penetration into this large market was effectively nothing. We had 25 of literally 25 of like the 15,000 Shopify Plus stores, for instance. We ran this test with the cart abandonment stuff. We're like, holy cow, like it's just like the first 5 people that used it were just like, I can't believe how well this works. It's like an immediate 100% lift, and you plug it in, it takes 30 minutes or whatever. We got to a point where we're like, wow, if we combine these two products, basically lower the pricing on both of them, make it an annual deal. There's such a big market with these Shopify stores that, and you just watch what happens to some of these apps. Like Klaviyo has like 90% market share or something in the email market. I mean, it's crazy how fast they expand in this ecosystem.
Yeah, 5 years ago it was.
Yeah, and it's how dominant they become when you are the leading product and you create a couple different moats. Like one of the moats is like you're the first mover in the agency partnership channel, because a lot of these big stores that switch over to Shopify, they do it through an agency, and the agency just has like a list of the Shopify. It's like they put in Klaviyo and Yotpo and like whatever. So like it's this source of leads that no one else has if you just build the ecosystem for you. A couple other things, right? So I got to this position where I was like, well, I've got to go for this. Because before it was like, well, this is going to be a very comfortable lifestyle business. Now it's like, man, this can be like a like Klaviyo's worth $10 billion. This could be like a multi-unicorn like pretty soon, like in the next few years. I just got to make everybody aware as quickly as humanly possible, because this is working so well for all of these people. And it's all of them. It doesn't not work for anyone. It's wild. And there's nowhere else for them to get it. So it's literally this incredible position, low penetration, no competition, and just like, how do I create awareness? And then
is your tool also an email marketing tool too, or?
We don't do messaging. So we're just like passing the record into Klaviyo, Attentive, Sendly, whatever it is.
Got it.
So I read the book Founder Brand by Dave Gerhardt, which if you haven't read it, I'd highly recommend doing.
Okay, I haven't. I need to read it.
And then I started just hearing people having success becoming influencers on LinkedIn, but like not really able to articulate it very well. And I still can't. Like I tried to you. I'm like, I don't exactly know what it's doing, but like I know that these things are happening that are probably correlated to what I'm doing. So then I'm like, all right, I'm sold on this, but I still feel like I don't know how to do it at all. And
do it meaning
create content for social media, since I'm not even doing it in my personal life. So I'm like, I need some help, because I know what I'm good at, and I know the things that I'm good at. I'm way better than people who just show up on day one and try to do it. Like whatever I'm good at as an entrepreneur, call it like creating product or marketing or whatever, like I'm so much better than I was 10 years ago that I would just like thinking about it in the NBA. It's like I'm not going to play social media basketball against LeBron James of Twitter. Right? If someone isn't helping me, I'm not going to do it because it's going to be a waste of my time. So I found a guy to help me on the LinkedIn front, and that's where I started. And then I also like.
And what did he do for you?
We basically conceptualized what we wanted to post about, and then I would give him ideas and he would write the posts.
Okay.
Then changed to me being like, I actually like video better, and I think it's like a way more powerful medium. If you can get people watching you every single day talk about anything, like they feel like they know you, and the trust that comes from people feeling like they know you is it is deep and it is large and it's super powerful. So I started making a weekly work in public video because I saw a few people building in public, and I thought it was like a really compelling way to basically attract talent to your shop, right? And that started doing so well. I was like, what if I could do this every day? Is there a way that I can set up my life to where one of these is going out every single day? So I came up with this system where, and these guys, and I started a podcast also. So I'm friends with these guys at this app called Triple Whale, who also sell into the Shopify ecosystem.
Yep, I know.
And the CMO, Rabas, my buddy, and I was like, dude, if I start this founder brand stuff, how am I going to do it? He's like, Tommy, the head of social, has an agency. He's like, he can help you on the LinkedIn front. I would start a podcast where he's like, I don't even care what it is. Just start a podcast that is you hosting it tomorrow. That is the first thing I would do. So I was like, all right, how do I, I know nothing about this. How do I even do that? I'm looking at other podcasts and there's words describing what happened in the episode. There's some lipstick. They're like chopping it up and putting it on social. I'm like, I don't have time to do any of this. And then I'm just sort of asking around, and this guy I knew through a mastermind that I was in called War Room. He's got a company called Easy Pay Direct. I saw in the footer of his email that he had a podcast. I looked at it. I'm like, dude, how do you make something that looks like this? And he's like, oh, I have these guys, Pod Post Media, like they'll produce it for you. So, for $5,000 a month, they'll do one episode. And if you go to retention.com/podcast, it looks really nice. It's very descriptive of the episode. They edit the video. They'll make a thumbnail. They'll do all that stuff. That kind of got me started there. Tommy got me started on LinkedIn. And then I spoke to so a guy, I was experimenting with paid ads on YouTube for a while, video paid ads, and our BDR operation wasn't set up to handle the leads. We just stopped. But this guy did the paid ads for Ryan Pineda. And he's like, I think you need to be doing organic video content because that's what the world, he's like, it's not going to. So I think there's two ways to think about this founder brand stuff. One is I want to create content to where my sales org can say X amount of leads came from the content that Adam created. I don't think that's what this is about at all. I've come to the conclusion that what this is about, I can articulate it in two ways. One, we pay Grow LA $40,000 for a booth and for me to get on stage with a customer and speak. And it was amazing because I got on the stage with Dr. Squatch. They're the darling brand of the Shopify ecosystem. He said that he's 50x ROI. I would have paid $1 million for that a year ago. If I have big audiences on all these platforms, Grow is paying me to speak. So, by the way, that's happening in every part of your business, right? You become this. And so that's like, I think, one way to represent what I'm trying to accomplish through that idea. The other way is, what was I about to say? Oh yeah. So this guy, Sean Puri and Sam, whatever, the My First Million podcast. He hit me up on Twitter because of my work in public. Like I'm posting my financials and stuff. It's crazy. The business is doing, this stuff's working so well because I also have this crazy story to tell. It's like, not only am I building in public, I'm showing you my full P&L and it's unbelievable, right? He's like, hey man, you got any like investment capital for me? I'm like, or investment shares for me or whatever. So I'm like, let's just talk. And then I'm like, how do I get on your podcast? And he's like, you can't talk about your company. Like we refuse. But if you send me bullets about things that have gone on, and this guy's interested in my life. Like, I worked at Lehman Brothers. I was on the trading floor the day that it filed. Like, he's like into crypto, so he like connects with that. There was a part of like the email thing, deliverability he had a problem with, which I can talk about. I share an office with Jasper AI, the chat. I've shared an office with them for 4 years, and they started a company 2 years ago. And I watched them create a unicorn in 12 months, and it inspired me to look at what I'm doing completely differently. Like, all these are really good stories. And then he's like, but our producer just kind of looks at it most of the time, and he's like, that guy's not famous enough. So like, this is like another illustration of why you should do this, right? Like, that's a big podcast, but there's these numbers by your face on these platforms that allow you, it's like you get to the point where you would hit a level to where other people think it'll help their podcast for your audience to hear you. So I think those two things are like the why, more than from my founder brand, I booked 5 demos for the Salesforce this month. Right. Like, you're just raising the profile of yourself, and it's creating this magnetism that further makes everything that you're doing and producing work better.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why.
Okay.
That was long-winded.
Okay.
For sure.
I love it. I'm already making a note to, like, I'm going to go back. I can't wait to go back and watch this episode.
So then it's like, how do I do it? Because like the biggest objection I had is like you sit there and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I don't know what to do. Nothing seems interesting that you're working on. There's a saying among content creators that content creation is a muscle. And once you start doing it, things will start flowing very naturally. I've found that to be the case. 4 months in, I have no shortage of stuff to talk about. And by the way, as an aside, I believe that what I'm doing in particular, and people doing stuff like me, will become ever more valuable. ChatGTP has made anything that you could get the answer for by searching the internet almost worthless. What are the 5 best ways to grow your SMS list? One, you could have ChatGTP write that post in 1 second. Like, it's not going to be valuable anymore. What is valuable is guy who says he's going to take his company from 6 employees to a unicorn by the end of this year, and is literally telling you everything about his experience.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like, authenticity is, I think, the most valuable, and you reporting on your own unique experience in ways where you're intentionally trying to highlight the points of value to other people. I think that's the direction you have to go. Like, I was talking to one of our BDRs yesterday, and he's like, oh, it's so much time or whatever. I'm like, you're not going to get a big audience. It's very different than me as the CEO of retention.com or whatever. But like, you could totally take an hour on Sunday night and like report on what you tried the week before and what worked and what you're going to try this week, and spread that out over LinkedIn. And like, other BDRs will want to know that. I even want to know that as a guy who's like your boss's boss, right? What are you doing? Like, that's kind of like what everybody wants to know who's either watching you speak or on social media. They want to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, so now I'm up to like, just to pick it back up from rewinding, I'm up to where I'm doing a 3 to 5 minute video every single day, a weekly podcast called 10 Years in the Making. That's me interviewing one of our customers. I'm on one of else's podcasts once a week. And then they're doing 2 LinkedIn posts a day, and I'm 2 newsletters per day.
2 newsletters a day?
Sorry, two newsletters per week. Yeah. So all of it starts with me making these 3 to 5 minute videos. That's now where all of the ideas come from, because I found that my words, no surprise, generate more interest than someone else writing based upon an idea that I had.
Okay.
So, and the fastest way for me to do it is video. So I have this spreadsheet, and I'm about to change this, and I'll tell you how and why. But the guy from Podpost Media, I was making some of these videos, and he's like, you should watch this. And basically what it was is somebody who's saying a good YouTube video strategy is hook, story, 3 lessons, soft CTA, summary.
Yeah.
So I'll write down the hooks throughout the week as stuff occurs to me. And then at some point when I have an hour, I'll go write the stories and the lessons. And I'll do either 5 or 10 at a time, depending on whether I'm traveling in front of the camera. And it's like right here in my studio or whatever. in my office, and then I have these dry erase boards that I write the lessons on. So it's a little bit of a prop. It's like,
Oh, and you're like,
this is my first lesson.
Yeah,
this is my second lesson. And the story writing session is the slowest part because it's like you're actually, but I have this teleprompter that I tell you. So I hammer these things out. I like cut and paste the story into a PowerPoint slide, invert it, and put it on the teleprompter screen. And then I start filming. I read the story, and then I just pick up the lessons.
Okay.
So it looks like I'm free flowing or whatever, but I'm not. I'm reading it. I can do 10 videos in 90 minutes or something. So it's like with a total of 3 hours, that's creating 10 of those shorts, which are then powering 2 LinkedIn posts a day and two newsletters per week.
Okay.
And then, so that's like the method.
Okay.
The thing that I think that I'm doing wrong now, which I'm changing very soon, is a 3 to 5 minute video is not really contextualized well for any of the platforms. It's like shorter than a YouTube long, but it's not a short or a reel. I couldn't get editors to come in and like pull the story out or something. So basically, I now am going to spend, let's say I record 4 mornings per week. I'm actually getting a video guy to have one of the mornings be a 4-hour session of just 30 to 45 second, literally like shorts that are going to get hammered on. The goal is like 50 shorts per week on each platform. It can be all platforms. And then the next week, I'll do the 5-minute video recordings or whatever.
Are you hiring somebody additional?
Yeah.
To do the shorts?
So another thing that I'm doing, as I said, I'm going as hard as possible.
You are. Thanks for
spending. This is really expensive, but I'm actually having somebody like, here's where this came from. So this was like a bootstrapped lifestyle business last September. Now we're on unicorn track. We didn't raise any money, but like we went from 6 to 50 employees in like 90 days.
And your goal is to sell by the end of this year?
No, so like, I think if we ended the year at 15 million ARR. I think if we get to 50 and we're very profitable, which we will be, that's a unicorn. So that's what and we'll be if we get to 50, we'll be on track to do like 200 the next year. So that's kind of like what we're saying is like the unicorn. So I'm making a TV show.
Okay.
1 weekly episode, which is not me. It's like somebody else. There's a director, a showrunner, an editor, like whatever. They're making a TV show called $1 Billion Challenge, which chronicles the emotional journey of being the founder in the middle of all this as it's all changing around you. And it is, like I told you, like I couldn't get people to write me back 6 months ago. And like I go to an event now and like in this ecosystem and people know who I am. Video guy can't believe it. He's like, you're a lightning rod. It's like, oh, so-and-so said I needed to meet you, whatever. So that's the last piece.
What's the idea behind, sorry to cut you off. What's the idea behind that TV show?
Literally 44 episodes, 1 episode a week.
Okay.
I have called my shot. We are going to grow at 300% this year.
But is the TV show?
It's a docuseries. They're just like, it's like
about retention.com.
Yeah. About
your story,
my journey inside of retention.com. So it's like, it would be like the high school state football champions from the year before getting tracked throughout the season. That's the rough equivalent of it all. Yeah. I'm excited about that. Like they've filmed like 100 hours of footage at this point. I'm like interested to see how it all comes together.
When's that start?
They're going to launch it, I think, on March 20th. So like in 11 days, maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and then 1 episode per week after it. So yeah, I'm literally all in on this stuff. Like I couldn't be any harder in on any of it. And the question is, when do I have time to do anything else? And the interesting thing is, what I was trying to say is like, I've limited filming to Monday morning for my founder brand content, and then Friday morning for their show.
Okay.
And then I'll do one of mine and then one like this, at some point during the week. So it's like I'm spending 1 day creating content. And if you didn't know, you'd be like, this is all this guy fucking does. But you need a team to process it, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, since this show is called Every Man's Hustle, I would like to ask at least one question that I usually ask everybody.
For sure.
And it is, what's your advice to somebody who's like thinking about starting a business? What do you tell like the brand new or those person that wants to be an entrepreneur that's like on the fence? Like, what advice do you give them?
So I'd say a few things. A, the road is long and winding. I have met very few people who have. So the way I started, I think it's like the hardest. I had some money saved up, which it would have been much harder had I not. But when you're dealing with, I had this vague notion I wanted to be an internet entrepreneur because my brother was, and these guys that I moved into New York with started Vimeo in my apartment, and I watched that happen. And I'm like, they're having a lot more fun than I'm having as a trader, right? So, but it's a very vague notion, and there's no carryover skills from trading to the skills that you would need to be an entrepreneur. You're not totally aware of that at the time, but if you were, I think it would be, I might have gotten another job to like learn product or like, I don't even know. I don't know how I would have gotten that job, but I think that if you're not doing something that's tangential to your current occupation, the road is long and winding. I would also say, if you're starting a software business, if you have some expectation for how well it would go, if you reduce that by 90% and it's still a good opportunity in your mind, worth starting.
Yeah, I love that.
Because I look at both of the initial models for both of my companies. Even on the second one, it's just like now it's happening for us really fast and hard and all that stuff. But I had modeled getting to where we are now in like 18 months or something. It took 3.5 years. Now we're growing faster than the model, but like it just took forever to get there, right? Click into product market fit, all that stuff. Another one would be, there's no shame in having current income aside from what you're trying to get going as an entrepreneur. That can come in two ways. One, you can have a day job that doesn't require 18 hours a day. So you can treat whatever 6 or 8 hour work day and then truly dedicate 4 to 5 hours a day to something else. Or you can be some sort of a consultant and have that going on while you're trying to start this thing out.
Yep.
I think that's some. And then the final thing is like, there's a lot of important things, but I believe in any business, the most important thing is how good the actual product is.
Yeah.
It's like having a truly great product in a market that needs it, that you're solving a very acute pain, like it will make everything else possible. A subpar product will make everything else impossible.
Right.
Those are two different, very different ideas with little suffix, but like you will be banging your head against the wall. And the reason is because your product is not good enough. If your product is great, every single door you open will be a ray of sunshine in an indescribable way, right?
Yeah.
And I felt them both. My first business, the product was subpar, and this one, it has become incredible. And like, it's just a totally different life experience.
Yep.
You can do things like make TV shows called $1 Billion Challenge, and it's.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're close to our end, but I maybe you can give me the short story because there's probably a longer story. But what was the aha moment for you in creating retention.com? Like where did you?
Yeah.
Obviously, you had your email marketing company before. Where'd you come up with that idea?
So the email marketing company was a SaaS platform. It wasn't an agency. It was like MailChimp or Klaviyo or something. That market is incredibly difficult. It's super mature. There are these dominant entrenched players who are spending billions on sales and marketing. Every channel is bid up past to what a competitor could pay to acquire a customer because these guys have the money to do it. And we grew it to a lifestyle business. So like 3 million top line, 1.5 million bottom line, which is fine, but that is boring after a while. And I was focused on ways to grow in this really difficult space. And I was trying to do stuff that MailChimp wasn't doing. They were like they had a free product for 90% of the market. They had an unbelievable brand. They were building faster than we could. Like, it's just, they had this ecosystem, tech partner ecosystem is insane. And I heard about this technology. And the interesting thing is, when I heard about this technology, I wasn't by this technology, I mean the ability to use identity resolution to capture an email address from somebody who hits a website and doesn't fill out a form. I heard that was possible. And I'm like, everybody with a website will want this, surely. Like, I own an email company. That's the biggest problem they have. Everybody wants more emails. And I was not, in no way did I think it was the opportunity that I think it is now. Every week over the last 2 months, I've realized the opportunity is even bigger than I thought the week before. So what do I mean by that? When I realized how this was done, it was at the time done with third-party cookies. I thought they were going away in 18 months. I heard about it in, let's say, early 2019. Literally, Google had said, these are gone by the end of 2020. I was like, make a couple $1 million, whatever. It's better than anything else I have going on, which is an important thing to, as you're hearing all of this, to realize, right? Like, that's how stuck I was. The Jasper guys who I was talking about, they were going to sell their business for $2 million and start a restaurant. And they decided to make one more cut at it. Okay. And it was, right? It's like crazy to understand how stuck people get on this entrepreneurial journey. Very negative on the business, thought the technology was going away. I actually thought, I didn't know that it was CAN spam compliant, but I was like, whatever, the affiliate guys will buy it. And I was wrong about it. The affiliate guys couldn't make it work, and it was CAN spam compliant, right? So all I'm trying to say is there was an aha moment about the novelty. It has like a purple cow element to it, like a Seth Godin, like it has a remarkable quality when you describe what the technology is. I was actually somewhat negative on the long-term prospects of the business, but I was like, whatever, I'll just try it. And then as time went on, we just fixed things one by one and then realized who was really getting value out of it little by little and kept adding stuff. Basically October 24th of last year, when we learned how to sell an annual subscription that was like a sort of Alex Hormozi $100 million offer for these big Shopify stores, it's like, it is go time. Like, how do we go as hard as possible? And that's where I'm at today. Series of aha moments. What do I think the key is? It's just continuing to throw spaghetti against the wall.
Okay. Yeah.
And figure out a way to keep putting food on the table for you and your family. It doesn't need to be what you're starting, right? Mm-hmm. And you just got to try to keep striving for this thing that clicks with product market fit when it's absolutely perfect. And try to restrain yourself from spending too much money on growth before then, quite frankly, which is very hard because like your ego is tied to what you're creating, right? You always think your human brain forces you to think that it's better than it is because you made it, right? It's like your cooking tastes good or whatever. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. I love to have you on again because I feel like we could speak for another hour. Maybe we'll check in 6 months and see.
Yeah, sure. See if I'm halfway to the $1 billion challenge yet.
Yeah. Adam, where can people find you?
My handle is Retention Adam. On Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. Retention Adam is it. Follow me. I am revealing a ton of information about what I'm doing, building in public, and about scaling these SaaS businesses as hard as possible.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Adam. It's been a pleasure. I'm definitely going to go back and watch this and take some notes.
Awesome, Matt. Thanks a lot for having me on.
All right. Thanks.